You know what? Wearing this hat is canceled, okay? Because everything can be canceled. Hey everybody, what's up? It's Chris, and it's Friday, and that means I'm going to promote the playlist up top, just so you know. So every week I do a video, and I throw them all in one playlist. Go check out that playlist if you want to see any videos you may have missed. I do motivational videos here every single week. I guarantee you'll at least get two. So, with that said, let's jump right into it. So, we're talking about the cancel culture. We're talking about Liam Neeson. We're talking about a lot of things. So, immediately, you might be asking yourself, how is this motivational? Well, the thing is that cancel culture forgives us one thing, and that's forgiveness. And I think we all need to learn to allow each other to be human and forgive one another when we make mistakes. Now, some of these might range between large and small, big and tall, but I still think in some ways we forget constantly to allow each other to be human. Messing up in the cancel culture literally leaves you eradicated and void of emotion. In this week's episode of Mob Psycho 100, episode I believe it's 5, at the end of it, we've just learned a big lesson about forgiveness and how Mob refused to believe that someone can't change. It's the same exact idea that we learn about villains and anti-heroes when we watch media such as Marvel movies or anime. Vegeta, if you remember, at one point eradicated an entire planet of creatures because he thought it was fun.
There's nothing like a little fireworks when you say goodbye. I think we've made the universe a cleaner place today.
You can go back and look at the series, and they'll tell you that he did it for Frieza. But if you look back at when he first started doing those pillages, he was doing it because he was enjoying it.
And yet now, he's totally cool and accepted among the heroes. Because those heroes, including and especially Goku, know the art of forgiveness. Now, Vegeta's not the only one. There are other people who've done like irreprehensible acts, but there are ways in which you can be redeemed. Our entire prison system is supposed to be built on the idea of rehabilitating and fixing people who are otherwise damaged and evil. But instead, it just focuses more on the punishment, which I think cancel culture is a giant factor of. Now, people who have been canceled, if you don't know what that means, because I've probably gone on too long about what it is and not really given a definition, cancel culture is where someone makes a mistake or does a thing you don't like personally, and therefore the internet mass media gobbles on top of you and tells you that you're canceled, your career is over, and you are done, son. People who have been canceled range as far as Kanye West with the MAGA hat, Taylor Swift, for not signing someone's autograph at one point, or Roseanne O'Donnell for calling that one woman a monkey. But if you look at the woman, I'm just saying this because I really do think this. If you look at the woman, she does look white. You wouldn't think she was black, to be honest. And so I kind of think that when Roseanne says that she thought the lady was white, she probably was being honest. But the fact is, she got canceled. In fact, she got canceled off her own show. They literally killed her on her own show that was named Roseanne and then brought it back as the Connors. But I'm talking too long about that. Kevin Hart has been canceled like twice for cheating on his wife and getting caught. And then again for, making some homophobic tweets back in the day. Which to him I say, what comedian, black comedian especially, growing up in like the 90s, wasn't homophobic? It was literally the joke you made back then. To go after him for that is still ridiculous to me. But that's how this thing goes. Cancel culture even affected people like Louis C.K., who of course, he did that. But at what point do we just go, at least he asked for consent? At least at what point do we say, well, it's messed up, but at least he asked. Again, I'm not defending the man. I'm just saying that things have been rhetoriced out among the entire YouTube and world atmosphere to defend these people. Yet again, there's another person, Nostalgia Critic. We all know him, right? He got canceled because of unfair business practices. It just kind of went away after a while. Who was that guy? You know him. R. Kelly. Not gonna touch that one. Quentin Reviews, Quentin Reviews, that was a big thing. He got canceled. I think he's still happening somehow. Lena Dunham, because racism. Jennifer Lawrence, she did stuff. And, these are my favorites. Whenever someone from cancel culture gets canceled and someone else famous defends them, that person also gets canceled. So Norm Macdonald got canceled for defending Roseanne by just trying to see where she could have been coming from and trying to defend someone that he considered a friend. he got canceled briefly. So because this video is touching on very sensitive subjects, I made notes on my phone, so I'm going to use that. So I might look down a couple times. This is because it's very professional, and this is how newscasters do it. So please stick with me. You know, recently the big one is Liam Neeson, and that one confuses me a lot because basically Liam Neeson, he admitted that he had faults that were not good. He admitted them. No one found them. He admitted them. And then he said, I learned from them. Okay? And I grew as a person. They were bad thoughts, but I learned from them. And people are mad at that. Literally to the point of a singer who I used to like a lot, and I can say her name. She said, F you to him and as a musical tribute. And I'm just thinking, like, you're saying F you to the guy who learned a lesson from thoughts. And even, I'll give you guys the clip of what you need to hear to know the context. So here's what happened with Liam Neeson.
And nearly 40 years ago, where a very dear friend of mine was brutally raped. And after that, there were some nights I went out deliberately into black areas in this city looking to be set upon so that I could unleash physical violence. I caught myself on. And it really shocked me, this primal urge I had. It shocked me and it hurt me. We all pretend we're all kind of, politically correct. Mm-hmm. I mean, in this country, it's the same in my own country too. You sometimes just scratch the surface and you discover this racism and bigotry, and it's there.
If you ask me, that sounds like a human being. Someone that made a mistake and learned from it and chose to admit it on public display. He's being vulnerable. And instead of understanding that, people are attacking him. Once again, I'm not defending what he did. I am defending him being attacked after he admitted wrongdoing. I personally look at that and see something that people do all the time, where they'll take a happening of one person, a single person, and then apply it to the entire group. It happens across the black community. It happens across other communities. It happens with cops. It happens whenever anyone sees one poor variant and attacks all of them. It's not right, and he's owned that. I don't see the problem. So yeah, it is hard to hear that, yeah, he wanted to go just beat up any black person and went around trying to be provoked. But the thing is, he didn't do it, and he learned that that was wrong. How many people in the world do you know of that literally have those thoughts and never learn from them? I want to actually commend and hopefully learn myself from Liam Neeson that I can have impure thoughts. I can have bad things go on in my mind and grow as a person. Isn't the entire point of being human is to experience things and learn that they are wrong? Where do we start to forgive people and where do we give up on it? I mean, if you are questioning why James Gunn, remember the guy who directed and maybe wrote Guardians of the Galaxy, why he got fired, and you're like, I defend him. Then you gotta defend Liam because Liam had a thought in the past. He maybe didn't write it down, but he told you about it. And he's grown, and we want to see him be grown, We want to see him be evolved. James Gunn has evolved past making pedophilia jokes. And you're all like, why would you fire him? That doesn't make sense. This same exact thinking is the same thinking that you should be giving this man. And I'm saying this as a black man. Like, I'm one of those people he could have killed had I been a person that wanted to start a fight with him. I'm not a person who fights, so yeah. And the fact that he wanted to kill someone, yeah, that's a lot too. But the fact is he didn't do it. And he was also being vulnerable and sharing something as a teachable moment for us all to learn from. But then the worst part, this is the part that makes me the most angry, is you have Terry Crews, who's also an actor, who defended him to some degree. He's not defending his actions, but he's defending the person. And he's just saying that, maybe, he did learn from this, and maybe there is a growing moment from this, and maybe there is a good side of this. Maybe it is okay to look at this and go, here's a man who is flawed like all of us. And instead of commending being level-headed, what does cancel culture do? They say we're going to cancel Terry Crews for saying something. I'm sorry, like this is the thing about my own people, and I'm saying this as a black person. This is the thing about black people that really bother me, is that we all have to exist in an echo chamber. We can't decide for ourselves that maybe something is sensible without the rest of the echo chamber attacking us. Like right now, here's an example that might be a little bit like counterproductive, but Eminem at one point as a child dated a black girl, he broke up with a black girl, and then decided to put down all black women in a rap. Why are we accepting him? Why is that okay? Why did cancel culture come after him? Why haven't anybody found that yet? You know, he made a song. The song's recorded. Why is that a thing? Because as an echo chamber, we all like Eminem. As an echo chamber, he didn't cross that line too far. And many people actually defend Eminem because he's so good at rap. You know what I mean? I love Eminem. I'm not saying that it's a thing, because I mean, he was in high school when it happened. People grow, people change, people evolve. But that idea needs to be given to everyone, just about. Again, I mentioned R. Kelly. Ugh. He has not been condemned by a court of law, but we all kind of just know. You know what I mean? I know it's messed up, but yeah, cancel culture has come after him, and it's with good measure. I'm going to get into the list. But cancel culture hasn't come after other people, like Woody Allen. Woody Allen totally slept with his stepdaughter. And people were like, oh, that's gross. But people still work with him. No cancel culture there. Pee Wee Herman. Pee Wee Herman had stand-up back in the day where you put a mirror on his shoes so he could look under a woman's skirt. Cancel culture, where you at? I'm just saying. Maybe it's because they're white. But then you gotta think about other black people who haven't really been hit with cancel culture either. And it's pretty much every black comedian ever from the 90s except Kevin Hart. If you look back at any black comedian, there are homophobia jokes. There are jokes that are just straight up messed up against white people and are indeed racist. Indeed racist. But that's okay. That's okay. Because they're not being asked to host the Grammys. I would have laughed out loud. They would have asked Chris Rock or my favorite comedian, Dave Chappelle. Because they both have done some of the most hilarious gay jokes of all time. It's in their past. Because that is what it is. This whole cancel culture thing is ridiculous because it's hypocritical. It doesn't have one standard for one person. It has standards that vary depending on who the person is and how well liked they are in the community. The point of all this is that cancel culture is toxic. Cancel culture forgets that humans are humans and we all make mistakes. If you had to literally own up to every single thing you've ever done in your entire life, good or bad, even like dumb thoughts, I'll own one for myself. I'll be completely honest and say that when I was in high school, I used to make really, really bad racial jokes against some other group of people. Not gonna tell you who, because I don't want to indict myself, but I used to make racial jokes, and I thought they were funny. Was I racist? No. But did I make the jokes? Yes. I feel bad, but it's in my past. I'm not that person anymore. I wouldn't do that now. You know, there are things that I write in my personal, like text to people that I'm sure I don't want anyone else to see because they're not clean, they're not sanitized. And with Liam Neeson, at least, he's being honest and real and putting this thing on the forefront and saying, hey guys, this exists within people. And I would rather be around the person that knows it exists, owns it, and has grown from it and owns growing from it than the person that sits next to me and smiles, it doesn't say anything, but thinks all the bad thoughts. Maybe that's wrong, maybe that's messed up, but that's how I feel about it. Cancel culture is literally the idea of not allowing us to survive on this landscape we call Earth without any flaws. You gotta be perfect. You can't show any of your humanity. And to me, that's messed up because I love being human. I don't want to be a plant. You know what I mean? Like, when do we get to a point where cancel culture just has to stop? Because you can't cancel everyone who doesn't agree with you on a thing. You can't cancel everyone who maybe said something you didn't like. You can't cancel everyone who made a mistake because there will be no people left. As soon as I see someone go, that person is canceled, I'm like, dude, you can't cancel a whole person. You can't. And at some point you have to look at yourself and go, you know what? If this was me, would I want mercy? If this was me, would I want someone to allow me to have a second chance? If this was me, Would I be allowed to like, whenever people make mistakes on Twitter, they make the apologies, but then before they know it, their career is over, their show is canceled, their movie is done. And I'm just like, can't we just like let them have the show, let them have the movie, let them move on, let them know they can't make this mistake again, let them learn from it? I mean, I just wonder like how better things would be if they were just like, yo, this thing was messed up. But you know what? You've been good so far. Here, have a second chance. Just see what happens. I don't think racism is good. Racism has affected me, obviously, as a lineage for eons. Racism has affected me personally for the years I've been alive. But I also think you dissipate it when you work with the people and allow them to grow. I know that when I came home from college, I can say this, that I feel like my parents, and to some degree, were a little bit racist. And my father, I don't blame, because my dad's like, in his 70s, nearing 80s, and he grew up during the civil rights movement. My mom is a little bit younger, but they had these racist thoughts. They said racist things to me, and I would always try to defend people, like not just white people, not just Asian people, not just Mexican people, but all people. I made a point that I wanted to be that person that stood up for the right thing. I want to be the person that said the right thing. I want to be the person that didn't just sit back and go, hey, it's okay. You can hate whoever you want. I want to always stand up and say, hey, hate is wrong. We should be loving one another. We're all humans. We're all here together. We're all here to grow, aren't we? Aren't we? Sometimes I don't know. If cancel culture was coming for you, what would they find? Let me know down below with a comment, and don't forget to watch today's playlist with all the videos for the week.